why do you let someone buy you for 300 grand a year when you could be making a lot more and having some freedom and independence? And it really resonated with me. And I was pretty hungry then to start looking for ways that I could switch from having employment to having my own business. That became my driving force. Basically, the combination of that plus the fact that there was a financial fallout happening in the United States in the subprime lending market, it made me nervous that I'm in a luxury end of the market. I was working for Mercedes-Benz dealership here, that I was getting paid a lot of money, that I was getting paid by one person who, and this wasn't the bad boss by now, it was a better boss, but he's still bad in other ways, which we could talk about. But it just made me think, gosh, my option really is to get paid by lots of people and to be in my own business. I didn't really know what that business would be, but I knew I needed to do it. And that was the motivation. And of course, I just didn't like suiting up every morning and driving off from my family at 7 a.m. and getting back at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, 6 days a week. In the motor industry, they're open 7 days a week. So I worked 11 out of 14 days for many years, and long days. Sometimes I'd get home and my kids are already in bed. So I'm like, this sucks. This isn't the life that I want. It's like, when do I get to start my life? I'm not waiting till I'm 65 so that I can retire and then have my life. It'll be too late. So I needed to make a change. I was pretty fired up about it. I needed to make my job redundant. And the trigger for me that would make that possible was I needed to build my own business on the side that could replace my income, because I just couldn't swing from the fences. There's no way I could quit and then try and figure it out. That'd be way too much pressure. And I do see people do that. And if you have a family or a mortgage or what have you, I don't think that's a viable option. If you're a single person in your 20s and you live at home, go for it. Your risk is very low. But I didn't have that luxury at the time.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, having done both. I've done both. And it's more practical when you have kids and a family to develop something on the side.
I also want to point out there, it's totally fine to have a job. And I had a job right up until my 30s, mid 30s. So it's fine. I got so much experience. I got a lot of on-the-job training. I experienced a lot of things, some great things in my job, and learnt all the things I know, how, leadership and those things. So it is good. And it comes down to personal choice. So I don't want to come across as like job is bad and entrepreneur is good. Most people are cut out to be entrepreneurs. It's very important to point that out, because you could be walking into more mental damage if you try and take on something you're not suited for. There's even a good book about this called The Leap, The Entrepreneurial Leap by Gino Wickman, where he talks about who's suited to it and what's involved. But for me, I was one of the types of people who I was in the wrong place by the time I got to it. But I either had to own part of the business I was working at or go and get my own and grow up and go out and take on the risk and responsibility of it. But it did suit my personality type. And that's really the sort of basis for what I do now, is helping those people who have found themselves as entrepreneurs, but haven't figured it all out yet. And there's so much to figure out. So anyway, it's okay to have a job if you're happy and it works for you.